So, welcome back to the Beast Game Podcast. And Sony said, pay me. Marvel said, okay. And Spider-Man is back in the MCU. Hallelujah. And we're going to go to the man that we had a Beast Gang dinner and started reading excerpts from this book. Rule number 23 says, no phones. Otherwise, we got a situation. Big Mike, how do you feel about Spidey being back in the MCU?
We already knew it was going to happen. I think we said it on the podcast before when he left that everybody will walk away from the table. Sony will come to their senses and somehow they'll get something resolved. Right now, it seems like it's just a temporary fix. The deal supposedly is 2 movies, 1 Spider-Man movie, which is already got a release date for July 16, 2021. And then a future team-up movie down the road. And then apparently Tom Holland can kind of cross over in between the MCU and Sony's Spider-Verse that they're developing. So it sounds like they found a nice way to just kind of bridge the gap for now.
I guess they feel really holly about that Venom movie.
Yeah, I read something today where they're saying some people behind closed doors think that Feige just wanted another movie to kind of write him out of the MCU eventually. And that may still be the plan, but he's never confirmed that. And no one's saying that that's officially on the table. I think it'll all depend on how successful Spider-Man 3 is. And then also whether or not Sony is reluctant to do another deal and keep Spider-Man around for years to come, as Tom Holland already stated he'd like it to be, or if they're going to go back to, well, we've got our Spider-Verse and whatever numbers they do they think is a result of their success and decide to snatch them back. Like I said, I'm going to always argue that Spider-Man's best in Marvel. They've seemed to take the character and do what other people were unable to do after Sam Raimi. Comic book movies are popular now, so your numbers, in my opinion, can be skewed because most people are going to see a comic book movie or watch a comic book show whether they know the character or not, so you're going to get that money regardless. The end of the day, you have to ask yourself, did you really make a quality film? And is it a franchise that's going to hold up and stand the test of time? Marvel's already proven themselves. Everyone else is still trying to catch up. So if you already got a foot in the door where, hey, they're going to help you out and control it, and all you have to do is kind of lease the character and collect the check. Again, I don't know what the problem is. We'll see as time goes on.
Matt, how do you feel about Spider-Man being back in the MCU for the time being?
I feel it's a great deal for fans, a plus win for Sony as well as Marvel. Hopefully they'll get to feel themselves out over the next couple of years. Hopefully they can keep this going because apparently Marvel is the only game in town that can actually develop their characters across the span of movies as well as integrating with other characters that people are not very familiar with and still come out successful. Hopefully it continues. Kind of excited as far as where Marvel is going to go with this and if Sony actually plays nice.
Again, as I said before, Sony was in a position of power. Contractually, they own the rights to Spider-Man for movies, and Disney has the money. And I guess Disney was like, let's stop playing games. Let's make it happen. Gave them some favorable terms, and at least for right now, everyone gets what they want. The public gets more quality Spider-Man. Sony gets money. Disney gets the notoriety. So it's a win-win-win for everybody.
It'll be interesting over the next few years to see how all this plays out. And I say it for both parties because I think Marvels are about to really get tested now that completed the whole Infinity Saga and Robert Downey Jr. is gone, Chris Evans is gone. Other people are sticking around, but, you know, Black Widow's a prequel per se.
Ant-Man will now be a Disney Plus.
Yeah, that's going to Disney Plus streaming, they're saying. A lot of other stuff is going to streaming service. So it'll be interesting to see how these new characters and these new movies they're developing hold up. I don't want to say not the franchise because that's not the word I'm looking for, but I guess hold up the studio for the foreseeable future because most of the big guns are either done with doing Marvel films or now they're going to be on a streaming service and not really within the universe as far as in film. So it'll be interesting to see how they develop with Eternals, Shang-Chi, Doctor Strange can carry on the traction he got from Infinity War and Endgame, things like that because Guardians of the Galaxy 3, how all these things start playing out over the future will tell a lot. And then it's kind of, you know, interesting to see what characters are going to end up focusing on. I think at the end of the day, it's going to boil down to Fantastic Four and X-Men as their next big money grab.
Yeah, and probably Silver Surfer or at least some characters.
Which they're already saying that they're already talking about Silver Surfer now. So I think, like I said, we know where it's headed. Just be interesting to see where this bridge that we're going to be in, where it leads to, and then how they develop everything. And it's good they got the deal done for the time being because Spider-Man would argue is up there with Batman and Superman. People know who Spider-Man is, whether you read comics or not. He's a, you know, he's a recognizable face.
He transcends just the general comic book. People know the colors. People know the logo.
Right. So He's one of those characters you need to have. And if you got him and it's been working, like I said, do everything in your power to try to keep that going. I'll say kudos to Sony, and I got respect for them for sticking to their guns, even though I think it's a dumb decision. I mean, hey, to have the balls to say, we're just going to walk away and it is what it is and try to do it on your own was a lot. Because, I mean, they could have took the route like Fox and said, well, okay, here's the price. And Marvel probably could have just cut a check and bought them and bought all the rights and kept it moving. But, at the same time, I get what Sony's saying. Hey, we did an animated movie, won an Oscar. If they feel like they can do something, I guess you got to take that shot. So we'll see.
I think the part of it also, too, is that with Marvel heading into, I guess, the cosmic verse, how will Spider-Man integrate regarding that storyline if they do decide to steer away from being on Earth, being that Spider-Man's more of a local guy and neighborhood Spider-Man. So it'll be interesting how it goes.
Fantastic Four was a little bit more further along. That's how you would do it. Or at least integrate Spider-Man into the cosmic side of things. I mean, he has already gone to space, and in order to get to space again, I could see somebody from the Fantastic Four helping him, or somehow he gets transported out into space. All right, so moving on to other news. We're going to talk about this Joker movie, and this, I don't know what it is. It has come out that people are fearing that there will be, and this is law enforcement copycats of people wearing Joker masks, so you can't come to the movie wearing a mask. You can't come to the movie wearing costumes. You might get dealt with. Comment.
Unfortunately, we do live in a world where now you kind of got to wonder if these things are going to happen.
They didn't do that for the My Little Pony movie.
No, I mean, I got you, but you hear the craziest and weirdest things now where people are upset and feel like certain rights haven't been respected and all this other stuff. And then you have people who suddenly look at a movie like that and a fictional character and decide that that represents them. And they might end up going out and trying to do something stupid like that. At the end of the day, there's really no way to get around it, right? Because whether you show up in a Joker mask or not, if your intention is to harm people, you're going to do it regardless. So while I understand what they're saying, at the same time, if they think they're really preventing something, you're not. If you're really going to try to prevent it, I guess you're going to put metal detectors at every theater, frisk people, search bags, do something like that, make sure doors are locked. I mean, I don't know what else you're going to be able to do. Other than that, somebody really wants to get something done, they'll do it. I don't think the movie is the catalyst for it. I think, if anything, if someone has that intention, they were feeling that way all along. The movie's not going to change that whether it comes out or not. So
Yeah.
I think it's just a news thing for people to kind of say and evoke fear. And as you know, controversy usually results in success. So
social media, and particularly for this movie, Warner Brothers, I guess any press is good press at this point. So you got people talking about the movie, talking about something might happen, and then when nothing happens, you still got all that press.
Yeah.
As far as the mass hysteria, which you guys commented earlier, any press is good press. Although I'm going to be kind of surprised how good or bad the public will really view this film, being that the majority of us haven't seen it. And although all the critics are swearing this is the next greatest movie that has come out from DC, the trailer was uninspiring. I beg to differ.
Yeah, I mean, there's still this problem I have with the movie, which is that I think I know the way that this movie is going to go, and we talked about it before during the last podcast that we spoke about this, but I just don't want to sit there and see a sad movie for about 75%, and then all of a sudden he gets inspired to be the Joker. Probably what's going to happen.
A dancing clown.
You have some star power in the movie. You have Robert De Niro, but just like Star Wars, it's like I can't get excited about that. So speaking of Star Wars, we had sent around some articles about some comments that George Lucas might have made. And Mike, you want to comment about the George Lucas stuff?
Well, essentially, Bob Iger came out and confirmed that George Lucas was extremely pissed off for the direction that Disney took with Star Wars. Apparently, he had written an outline and given it to them. Kind of, this is where he saw the franchise going as it moved forward, and they completely ignored it and did whatever the hell they wanted to do. Basically, it's the equivalent of pissing off somebody's father, right?
It's like pissing off Stan Lee. You just don't do it. It's an absolute no-go. You don't piss off Stan Lee. He is the man. He has a certain clout with his name.
You built the biggest movie franchise in history, arguably, right? And you go ahead and sell it because you're at a point where, okay, I think I'm done doing it, but I want to live on. Unfortunately for George Lucas, I tell people all the time, make sure you get what you want in the deal, and in the deal, he gave them the right to do whatever they wanted to do, so they did it. So, I mean, you could be upset, but really not much you can do about it at the end of the day. I think what Disney's figured out is they've been on a while. They're
regurgitate everything over and over again and keep giving you the same movies over and over again.
Right. And they're essentially the monopoly of movies right now. They've got 4 more coming out this year that I just saw trailers for. Disney have 4 damn movies. They got one coming out each month.
A lot of that just has to do with the fact that they're just putting on too much stuff. A lot of it's just not quality. They're just going for a lot of quantity. I guess next year, a lot of the Fox stuff will start to be released. So you're going to be getting at least 2 Disney movies within a 5-week span of each other. We go ahead.
So you have Star Wars fans who are going to be realistic and say, the movies suck or they're not good. I didn't really enjoy them. And then you have that sector of Star Wars fans who don't care. It's Star Wars. It's feeding my Star Wars hunger, so I'm fine with it. And I think Disney looked at that, understood that works. At the end of the day, regardless of how the movies are, they're still making a shit ton of money. So from that standpoint, Disney's like, oh, we're a success. But I think now they're starting to look at like, all right, George Lucas isn't even on board. You got the stars of the movie coming out saying this isn't Jedi. This is not how things are supposed to be. And it's starting to become a bad look. And I think now they're basically just going to ride out this wave with the last one. Like, okay, get it out. Let's get it done. Focus on Mandalorian coming out on Disney Plus next month. Saying, okay, because now they made a decision. We're going to get Kevin Feige to produce Star Wars. Proving his chops, managing 22 movies, making a whole saga, and it worked. Maybe he can fix what we've gotten wrong with Star Wars. And they're kind of backtracking and trying to fix everything now. I'm already predicting I wouldn't be surprised if Jon Favreau ends up getting picked for the director when the new stuff comes up.
Other than J.J. Abrams, that's the go-to person. I mean, particularly for a lot of the Marvel stuff, it's like, well, either it passes through his hands or he has some say or sway into all that.
I'm not looking forward to Rise of Skywalker. I'm really not. I am not even looking for when tickets go on sale. I'll see it when I see it. I'm already expecting it to be crappy. I don't think anything's going to surprise me. I'm not going to walk out like, oh my God. So I'm more excited about Mandalorian on Disney Plus than I am the movie. And we'll see what they do. I mean, they're talking about doing Old Republic now, focus on some of the Star Wars stories that have played out over years through books and things like that. But we've heard all that before. And Disney will turn around next year and announce, oh, we're going to go a totally different direction and all this stuff. So we'll see.
I'm just so over this franchise. Just the way they've tried to continue the mystique regarding the franchise and then all these spin-offs that have been just as equally as terrible. I'm just done with it. Until this trilogy is done and then they decide to do the Old Republic, I'm not excited about any of those movies, even the ones on Disney Plus.
That is the sad state of Star Wars, everybody. That's the Beast Game Podcast, I guess. Don't show up to the movie theater in the mask, otherwise Batman will deal with you.